श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् ஷீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि रामानुज दया पात्रं ज्ञान वैराग्य भूषणं श्रीमद् वेंकटनाथार्यं वंदे वेदांत देशिकम् ஷீரொன்னு தூப்புள் திருவேங்கடமுடியான் பாரொன்னு சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்னு தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
In page 138, we continue Abhaya Pradana Saram of Sri Vedanta Deshika. What is meant by Abhayam? Actually, the fearlessness is the direct translation. Bhayam is fear, Abhayam is no fear. But Abhayam in the secondary sense means protection. When somebody is without fear, that means he is safe. Safe meaning protected. Maybe by himself or somebody else. But in our case, always Lord protects us. We can't protect ourselves. Otherwise, we will not be what we call surrenderers. We are all Sharanagatas because we have fear. Lot of fear. But Abhayam includes also the hesitation. The hesitation that we have in doing any activity. Sankocha, then the Abhayam, Bhayam includes Sankocha, hesitation. So Abhayam negates it. Abhayam doesn't have hesitation. No reservation in any activity. Talking to others, and we don't put on airs also. Sankocha abhavatali. The non-existence of hesitation. Sarva bhaya abhavatim solhu. When there is no hesitation, that means one is free from fear. So sarva bhaya abhavatim. All fears are dismissed. And again, these are all the words that we are dealing with from the Charma Shloka of Amavatara. So Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyaha. So we go to the next word, Sarva Bhutebhyaha. Before that, so I repeat, so Bhayam is fear, Abhayam is no fear. So there is absence of fear. That means protection, safety, and we are safe by the Lord. And we have no hesitation, Sankocha Abhavaha. Then we have Sarva Bhaya Abhava. I think in the notes under the page 138 will give us the number 5 also. Alavu illadapadiyale. Alavu illadapadiyale is not the okay. So Abhayam, here another meaning is there. Alavu illadapadiyale means without limit. So what is without limit is Abhayam, that is safety is without limit. That means total safety is assured by the Lord. Total safety. So it is not Sankocha hesitation. Sankocha here meaning what we call compression. That's called compression here. Sankocha. So there is no compression of Bhayam. Sankocha Abhavam means the safety is enlarged. The safety is all-round safety. That's the meaning. So Sankocha refers to the Abhayam. There is no Sankocha in Abhayam. So Bhayam has got Sankocha. Bhayam You can have a small fear also, limited fear also, but here is unlimited protection. So unlimited protection is called Sankocha Bhava. See, look at the words because it's very difficult to understand unless Professor A. Srinivasa Raghavacharya of Pudukkottai, a Sanskrit professor, could explain this. Then Sarva Bhutebhyaha Ingira Viddai. Vittai or Viddai. So we go to the next page. Panchami என்று சிலர் வியாக்கியானம் பண்ணினார். The Sanskrit word Sarva Bhutebhyaha, Sarva all, Bhuta living being. So Bhutebhyaha meaning there are two vibhaktis, cases of the word. Tamilல வேற்றுமை. இரண்டு வேற்றுமையிலையும் ஒரே வேர்டு தான். Bhutebhyaha. Sarva is only added. All, which means all, as all of you know. So Bhutebhyaha meaning there are three meanings here. One is from the living beings. That is from the living beings. That is one meaning. Second meaning is than the living beings. So these two meanings come out of Tamil Aindam Vetrumai, English Sanskrit Panchami Vibhakti. English is ablative case. It's called ablative case. So these words, Bhutebhyaha, in Bahuvachanam, plural, that is Panmai in Tamil, three and more. There must be minimum three living beings. So Bhutebhyaha, not two. Two means there is dual. Dvivachanam is there. Irumai is there. So Bhutat, Bhutabhyam, Bhutebhyaha. That is the what we call declension. Declension meaning Shabda. 24 words or 21 words will constitute a Shabda, declension. And we must have minimum 7 cases. In some words, we don't have what you call addressing, calling cases. Therefore, it's called vocative case or vocative case. There is no vocative case in some words. If there are 8 cases, 8 வேற்றுமைகள், each has got a singular, dual, plural. So totally 24. So or 21. So minimum 21 and maximum 24 words will be called a group called declension. Shabdaha. Shabdaha in different meanings Shabdaha means word. Shabdaha means noise, that all of you know. Shabda. And Shabda means grammar. There are three meanings. And fourth meaning is basic word. Shabdaha is a basic word, root word. So even in English, all words have got either Greek or Latin or some roots are there. So many roots are there for English words. So you say Greek language is the root of the English word. Latin language is the root of the English word. In the same way, here we have root words in Sanskrit. Only when we know root words, we can have perfect declension. That is, we can make it into 24 forms and all are 21 forms. Minimum 21, maximum 24. So 8 cases into 3 numbers, singular, dual, plural. Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam. Orumai, Irumai, Panmai. So this Bhutebhyaha is in plural. So at least 3 living beings, more than 2. And then, so if it is taken as ablative case, the form is in ablative case, then we have 2 meanings. From the living beings, from all living beings, Sarva Bhutebhyaha, or from, than all living beings. So there is no comparison here to say than. So that meaning is out of context. And then suppose you take this word as from all the living beings. So this is how people make a distinction and give meaning. So some people said, Panchami endru silar vyakyanam panninargal. So there are unimportant people who did not know perfectly. They said the Sarva Bhutebhyaha is ablative case word. ஐந்தாம் வேற்றுமை சொல் என்று சில பேர் சொன்னார்கள். So then if you take the meaning, so Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyaha, take it together, that means Rama in his avatara assures a surrenderer. So the first half must be remembered, Tavasmi Chitayachate. So Sakradeva Prapannaya, a person has surrendered once and said, I belong to you, and he begs there, he begs for protection. Then protection will be given from all living beings. And then, so from will be used. From will be used. Now, Somasi Andan Ullittargal, so there are some great people like Somasi Andan. He comes in the clan of preceptors. And I don't know much about Somasi Andan, but Kesavadas Swami will throw light later on this particular preceptor. So there are great preceptors like Somasi Andan who said that this word belongs to Chaturthi Vibhakti. So Chaturthi Vibhakti meaning for the sake of, or simply for, F-O-R, for the living beings. Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyaha meaning for the living beings. It is what we call dative case. These two cases. That is Tamilam, Nangam Vetrumai, Aindam Vetrumai. Idala Bhutebhyaha is some common word. Single word for both forms, namely plural of dative case and plural of ablative case. Sanskrit, Chaturthi Vibhakti and Panchami Vibhakti have the same form. These two cases have the same form, Bhutebhya, Sarva Bhutebhya. So Somasi Andan, the preceptor, and other great preceptors considered that it is Chaturthi. It is dative case, meaning for the protection of all living beings. For all living beings. Sarva Bhutebhya meaning for all living beings. Abhayam for the protection of all living beings. You can also add for the sake of. In some context, you can say to. So protection to all the living beings. Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhya meaning protection to all living beings. That's the meaning. So in the Nirvahittargal, they considered, managed the word like what you call Chaturthi Vibhakti word form. Rendu Pakshathilum ulla Gunadosha Tat Samadhanangalai Tattat Granthangalile Kandukolvathu. Now, what the author of this commentary, namely Professor A. Srinivas Raghavacharya of Pudukkottai, says that both have merits and demerits. Both have merits and defects. So Panchami also can be the meaning, and Chaturthi also can be the meaning. Chaturthi Vibhakti meaning also can be taken, or Panchami Vibhakti meaning can be taken. Meaning, again, so if it is Panchami, the guna, the quality, the merit will be, protection will be extended to the surrenderer from the living beings, from all living beings. That means no living being can do harm to the surrenderer. So no danger, no risk from any living being whatsoever to the surrenderer, if you take it as Panchami Vibhakti. Then if it is Chaturthi Vibhakti, so this protection is extended to all the living beings. So without any distinction of class, race, color, religion, status, and so on. So all living beings will be treated equally, and all living beings will be protected. So protection to all the living beings will be the meaning in Chaturthi Vibhakti, in the dative case. Now, if there are some defects, then what we must do is, we must look at those books which give us the merits and defects of these two vibhaktis. What will be the harm in understanding it as from all the living beings or for all the living beings, will be understood in separately from different books. Now, so Adil, so in this Charma Shloka, Panchami Pakshatil, suppose you take it as ablative case, Prapannaya என்கிற விதுக்கு சங்கோச்சம் இல்லாமையாலே. Suppose we take it as Panchami Vibhakti, ablative case, that means from all the living beings. Then the word in the previous half, the first half, namely Sakradeva Prapannaya, that there Prapannaya to the surrenderer. That is in Chaturthi Vibhakti. So Chaturthi Vibhakti. So that will go with that. Ekavachana, yes. Prapannaya is Ekavachana. So only one surrenderer and the surrenderer does Saranagati at only one time. So Prapannaya, so என்ற விதுக்கு, I don't know the words, விதுக்கு சங்கோச்சம் இல்லாமையாலே, there is no limit there. பிரபத்தியினுடைய சர்வாதிகாரத்துவம் சித்திக்கும். So one surrenderer will be protected from all living beings who may pose danger, who may give him trouble. So one surrenderer is protected from all living beings. So that will be the right way according to this argument. So Prapattiyinuடைய in the concept of total surrender, Sarvadhikaritvam Siddhika. So Rama is all powerful because he can assure protection from all living beings. So no danger will come from any living being. That is the meaning of, that will be what we call, so Rama will be understood as omnipotent because of this Panchami Vibhakti. Then Chaturthi Pakshatil, Sarvadhikaratvam Kantoktamam. If you take it as Sarvabhutebhyaha as for the all living beings, again the same meaning is coming. That is omnipotency of Lord Rama. But this is better in the sense it is directly understood. So instead of imagining the risk from all living beings, now the point is, as Keshavdas Swami put it rightly, it is singular in the first half. Prapannaya. It is singular in the first half. Therefore, that means Lord will protect only one. That means who is a surrender. Suppose many people do not surrender. That means all living beings will be protected. Irrespective whether they are surrender or not. So Sharanagataha va Nava. It is also mentioned by many authors in many books. Paduka Sahasram of Vedanta Deshika mentions people come to the temple, worship Ranganatha. They don't want to, yes. Ramanuja's Prapatti cannot save all of us. No. Generally, we say Ramanujacharya surrendered to the Lord for our sake. And therefore, we say that we need not surrender. Already he has done it. And we need not even bow to Ramanuja or bow to Lord. So, but that is different. But here, this is Prapatti. Each of us must do Prapatti. There is no doubt about it. So I cannot do it for you and you cannot do it for me. I pray for you, you pray for me. This policy won't work here. So I have to do Sharanagati and you have to do Sharanagati for yourself. For each individual soul, we need individual effort. But here, so even if somebody does not surrender, So Sakrideva Prapannaya is a concept. A person who has surrendered will be protected because he said, I belong to you, and he begged. So when we don't beg, when we don't say, I belong to you, then when we don't surrender, then the Chaturthi Vibhakti also holds good. That is, for all the living beings, protection will be extended. Now, another shade of meaning I can say, if the surrenderer gives trouble to the others, if the surrenderer gives trouble to the others, it is a remote chance, because the surrenderer will be humble, he will be helpless, he will not be doing wrong actions, he will be always perform right activities, and therefore he will have no bad attitude of giving trouble to others. But remotely speaking, when he troubles others, even from the prapanna, all living beings will be protected. Even from the prapanna, all living beings will be protected. That will come as what we call Chaturthi Vibhakti meaning, that is dative case meaning for Sarvabhutebhyaha, and Abhayam. Abhayam is protection. Protection will be extended to Tivo. Tivo is the main for Chaturthi Vibhakti. So all the living beings, whether the trouble comes from gods, demons, and so on, and their own actually sins, all living beings, when they commit sins over many births, or rather former births, all sins will be obstacles to their surrender, actually moksha, getting moksha and so on. And therefore, even those sins will be removed. The obstacles for moksha will be removed. So they will be made to surrender. So the Lord will help all living beings to surrender. Panchami Anal, suppose we take it as from all living beings, Panchami Anal, Panchami ablative case. From, if it is considered as ablative case form, then Kevala Ravanadi Matrattai Patravan. So all living beings, the word all refers to not only Ravana, but also others. Meaning, the previous birth of Ravana, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Kumbhakarna, all other demons whom Rama met in the forest, Kabandha, Viradha, in the Ramavatara. In Krishnavatara, so many demons, Putana, Aghasura, Bakasura, Shakatasura, Dhenukasura, Kapithasura, so many words, so many demons. So from all these demons, not only from Ravana, from all bad elements, that will be better. From Sarvabhutebhyaha in ablative case. So from all living beings, meaning especially from all demons, not excluding Ravana, that is including Ravana. Brahmarudradigalayum nammayum patra bayamilladabadi pannuvodom endru aruli cheydabadiya. Now I talked of demons, I talked of wicked people just now. So when you say Kevala Ravanadi Matrate Patravandre, so we are not talking about only wicked people who give trouble to others, but we are talking about Brahma and Rudra also. Brahma and Rudra, the creator, four-faced Lord, and Rudra, the Lord Shiva. So Brahma Rudradigalayum nammayum patra bayamilladabadi pannuvodom. So Lord Shivan Narayana will extend protection to all living beings, meaning the living being, all living beings include both Brahma, Shiva, of course, and others, Indra, the 33 crores of gods, and so on. Even if they are demons, Mahabali Chakravarti is one of the kinds, namely a demon who has been saved. There are some more examples also. Classic example is Mahabali. Mahabali, though a bad demon earlier, became good demon, and therefore demon is also saved. So all living beings include gods, human beings, demons, and so on, even if they are wicked or not, including Brahma and Rudra, all the gods, Brahma and Rudra. Nammayum, so people like us also. Patra, bayamilladapadi pannuvadum. We will make them safe. That's what Rama assures. Endarli chedabadiya. So Chaturthi anal, look at the beauty of argument here. So alternatively, the meaning is exchanged. So if it is dative case, if the word is dative case, that is sarvabhutebhyaha, so for all living beings, then Vibhishanan endu ninekka venda. It is not only Vibhishana who will be protected. So in the sense, Vibhishana was a demon. So any good man, any demon, any god, including Brahma and Rudra, will be saved. So Vibhishanan endu ninekka venda. Abhaya Pradana Saram, the subject of the book, does not exclude all others. That means it includes all living beings, whether they are demons or gods or human beings. So Vibhishanan endu ninekka venda. Ravanan thanaginum நாம் அவனுக்கு அபயப்பிரதானம் பண்ணுவோம் என்று. So Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyaha meaning for all living beings. So it includes Ravana also. If it is Panchami, means if the trouble is from Ravana, then that will be solved. If the Prapanna himself is Ravana, the surrenderer himself is Ravana, so that will be a meaning of Chaturthi. That is, a dative case form of Sarvabhutebhyaha will include Ravana as one of the living beings, apart from Vibhishana. So Ravana will be given Abhaya Pradana. Vibhishana is assured, already assured. We are talking on the episode of Vibhishana only. Vibhishana Sharanagati is the subject of the book. It's only one part of the subject of the book. Only one rather small particle of the book. Vibhishana is not the main hero here. He rather among the surrenderers. So Vibhishana will, so not only Vibhishana will be protected, but also people like Ravana. Ipporul, this meaning, கீழில் பிரகரணத்திற்கும் மேலில் பிரகரணங்களில் ஸ்லோகங்களுக்கும் சேரும். So we are going to see another chapter, following chapter. So that is கீழில் பிரகரணத்திற்கும் மேலில் பிரகரணங்கள். So far we have been going through 8 chapters. So we saw Prakashaha. The word Prakashaha is commonly used in every chapter title. Sharanya Guna Prakashaha. So Melil Prakaranangalil. So far in the chapter that we read, we read some shlokas, many shlokas. Shlokangalukkum share. So this Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyaha will apply to all the shlokas mentioned in the previous chapters, and it will also get applied to the future chapters after 8. So in the Yojanayil, in this plan, Yojana is plan. Tamil, Yoshane, thinking, thought is called Yojane. So Vicharaha we say, discussion among ourselves. So we plan, Yojana is plan. Yojana also meaning a distance. It's I think 9.7 kilometers or something. It's called just 10 miles. Maybe you are better in making an equivalent. So 9 point some miles. Sorry, kilometers. So yojana. Sri Lanka was 100 yojana away from India. 100 into 10 miles, say 1000 miles. So in the yojana is plan, thought. So in this context, sarvarayam patra, to connect all people, all living beings, bhaya abhavam artha siddham. So whether you take it as ablative case form or dative case form, sarvabhutebhyaha, the protection, bhaya abhavam, absence of fear, is the quintessence, artha siddham. So siddham is successfully meant. So artha is meaning. So the inner meaning of all these chapters, previous and later, future chapters also, bhaya abhavam is the essence. So Abhaya Pradhanam, the word Abhaya Pradhanam is equivalent to Bhaya Abhav. That's all. So once we are gifted with fearlessness, Abhaya Pradhanam, then there will always be absence of fear. Bhaya Abhav. Artha Siddham Tannadaive Erpaduvathu, meaning it is obvious. Fearlessness is obvious in all contexts, in all shlokas mentioned, in all the chapters, past and future. So we go to the next page. So we can take the Sanskrit verses straight away. So there are only 2 verses in Sanskrit. Nidanam sarva bhutanam ekaha karma phala pradaha iti pashyan kashatulyaat kutaschit na bibhetihi. Nidanam sarva bhutanam ekaha karma phala pradaha iti pashyan kashatulyaat kutaschit na bibhetihi. I will read the Tamil translation. Sarva bhutangalukkum karanamana oruvane எல்லோருக்கும் அவர்களுடைய கர்மத்திற்கு ஏற்றவாறு பலத்தை கொடுக்கிறான் என்பதை அறிந்து ஷாட்டை போன்ற துன்பத்தை கொடுக்கக்கூடிய எந்த வஸ்துவிடத்திலிருந்தும் பயப்படுகிறதில்லை. Anyone, the word is not available here for the word anyone. Na bibeti, he is not afraid. In the second half you find the word na bibeti. No one is afraid, you can say. No one is afraid of. He indeed, so he understood the reality, truth, and therefore he is not fearful. He is fearless. Why? An example will be, suppose somebody thrashes him with a whip. Kasha is whip, W-H-I-P. Tulyat, so equal by punishing somebody with a whip. So in those days, imprisonment is not the punishment, but whipping is the punishment. So kasha tulyat, so equal to the whipping. So that is what you call punishment. Nobody is afraid. Kutaschit, from any source. Kutaschit means from any source. From anywhere, nobody is afraid of whipping, being whipped. So how does he understand the truth? Iti pashyan, thus seeing. Thus seeing meaning understanding. So he understands that sarva bhutanam nidanam, the concept nidanam, sarva bhutanam, for all living beings, ekaha karma phala pradaha. Nidanam is conclusion. Tamil nidanam meaning slow and steady, but the Sanskrit nidanam is conclusion. So sarva bhutanam nidanam, the conclusion of all living beings is ekaha, there is only one person. Who is that? Lord Sriman Narayana. What does he do? Karma phala pradaha. So he gives the fruits of our action. So if we have done good deeds, then he will give us the fruits of our good actions. If we have committed bad activities, then again he will give the fruits of those activities. So if we do good actions, we get merits, and then the amount of merit, the quantity and the quality of merit is decided by the Lord. And if we do bad actions, that also the consequences will be decided by the Lord. So karma phala prada. In fact, we also say that the activities themselves give us the fruit. You need not involve the God there. So karma phala pradaha, pradaha, one who gives well. Pradaha is one who gives well. That is right rewards for good activities and severe punishment for bad activities. So karma phala, the merit. The merit also includes demerit. So karma is good action and bad action. So karma phala pradaha, there is only one person, ekaha. So he is Lord. So iti pasyan, thus understanding. So nobody is afraid of getting whipped. That means nobody is afraid of any punishment when they believe in the Lord, that he is the only protector. So it is not enough that we remember him as karma phala pradaha, that is one who gives the merits and consequences of good and bad actions. But we must say that he is our protector. So next one, number 2. Sarva aparadha nishkritya prapatya karunanidhim prasadayan nahi punaha tataha api bhayam richati. So a surrenderer falls at the feet of the Lord. Who is that Lord? Karunanidhim. Let me read the English Tamil translation. எல்லா அபராதங்களுக்கும் பிராயஷ்சித்தமாயிருக்கிற பிரபத்தியினால் கருணைக்கடலான சர்வேஸ்வரனை சந்தோஷப்படுத்தினால் மறுபடியும் அவனிடமிருந்து கூட இவனுக்கு பயம் கிடையாது. செய்த பாவத்திற்காக வரும் தண்டனையை பற்றி பயமே இல்லை. So this verse meaning is the result of the previous verse. When we say Ekaha karma phala pradaha, he gives the result of good result and bad result of our sins, our activities. Then I said we must take him as a protector. And so that is mentioned here. That means after surrendering, we need not be afraid of the sins committed by us. We need not be afraid of the bad activities performed by us after surrendering to the Lord. So there is no fear. Now again, even by the merits of good activities performed by us in all births, is not there in our mind, because there will be obstacles to our getting moksha. If we are ready to take the merits or the results, good results of our good activities, then we have to enjoy them in heaven. So we are not to aspire for heaven, to go to heaven and come back. So we must aim at only Vaikuntham, and therefore there will be fear of our good actions also. That's why we always say, as Kashoda Swami also said it in previous session, Sarva Karma Phala Tyaga. That is what we meant by Charma Shloka of Krishna Avatara. Sarva Dharman Parityajya, meaning Sarva Karma Phala Tyagaha, not Sarva Karma Tyaga. We are not to desert our activities, stop our activities, but we don't want the results of our activities. Never we would like to get the sins or bad effects of our bad activities. that we never do. We never want, we have never desired for bad results of our bad activities. But we want, sometimes we are ready to receive the merits of our good activities. So that also should be not there. So sarva karma phalatyaga. So either bad or good, we must not expect any results in return. So ella aparadhangalukkum. So sarva aparadha. Ella aparadhangalukkum, for all sins committed, for all blunders committed, nishkritya prapatya. Nishkriti meaning remedial action. So what is parihara, what is prayaschitta, what is atonement, what is expiation? For all the blunders committed, prapatti, the total surrender. So prayaschittama irukira prapatti now. So prapatti is the panacea for all ills by our bad activities. So what do we do? Karunanidhim prasadayam. Karunanidhim. Karuna, mercy, compassion, sympathy, pity, and so on. Nidhi is a treasure. Generally, we refer to as a sea of pity, ocean of mercy. Karunodadhim, can say. So it is translated as Karunik Kadalan. So he is a vast ocean of sympathy. He is the biggest ocean of mercy. So Karunanidhim. Sarveshwaranai, he is all powerful. Santosha Paditinal, Prasadayan. How do we please him? Prasadayan meaning one who pleases, one who makes happy. So how can one make Lord happy? By doing good activities. What are good activities? As mentioned in Shastras, especially scriptures. So simple activity is speaking truth. So Santosha Paditinal, Prasadayan. You have to please him. So Prasadayan is a present continuous noun. It's not a present continuous verb, but it's present continuous tense, not tense, but noun. So one who is pleasing the Lord, Karunanidhim, he indeed, nahi punaha, again, no, tatopi bhayam richat. So even from the Lord, there is no fear. Why should we expect fear from the Lord? Generally, we guide children this way. Lord will find fault with you, Lord will punish you for the bad activities. So we always threaten the children to stop their bad activities by saying, Lord will punish you. We say, Perumal kannai kuttuvar. That's it in Tamil. So he will prick your eye and make you blind. So that is the normal expression that we do to threaten the children. Say to threaten the children. And therefore, we have a list of sins and then a list of good activities. When we become mature enough to understand, we read Bhagavatam and understand different types of hells meant for different types of sins. And therefore, sins are also listed. The don'ts are also listed in scriptures, what we are not supposed to do. So, Pratikulya Varjanam is mentioned in scriptures, that is, whatever is not good to us should not be done. And then Anukulya Sankalpaha is also there. Next step, namely, we must do whatever is prescribed in Shastras. And therefore, so no fear from, na bhayam richati. No fear comes from, tataha api, even from the Lord. How? I mean, we can't say that Lord forgets the good activities and remembers only bad activities to punish us. In Rama's case, especially, particular incarnation, even if one small service is done to him, he remembers throughout his life. Because throughout his life, in the sense, he is endless. His life is endless. So remembers us for a small service done. And even if we commit 100 mistakes, he doesn't remember. This is a case of Rama. That means Rama, of course, he is exactly equal to Sriman Narayana. In all avatars, we can say this quality remains intact. And therefore, now supposing this is only a surmise, this is only a guess, maybe a wrong guess. Suppose the Lord forgets what we did. So here, the individual soul who has surrendered has no fear from the Lord. The Lord, suppose, mistakenly punishes the surrenderer. So that will happen only in our case, memory failure and so on. But what we mean is, in the Archavatara and Vyuhavatara, we see him with a lot of weapons. Archavatara, we have 5 weapons: the conch, the wheel, the mace, the bow, and the sword. So looking at all these 5 weapons, if we are afraid, so there is no need for fear. One more aspect is given. Shaida papatrikaha varum dandani patti bhayame illai. Namely, as we have committed sins, lot of sins, we will not get any punishment from him. Because as soon as we surrendered, all sins will be out of our purview. That means we will be released from all sins. We will be relieved of all the sins. Therefore, there is no fear from him, from the Lord, that he will punish us.
So, Swami, the conclusion is that which is better, to think of Sarva Bhutebhyo as Panchami or as Chaturthi?
There is no decision on one case. It is both.
Both.
It comprises of both.
Very good.
That is why
the Chaturthi Vibhakti for me. It is more. I feel more appropriate with regard to Chaturthi Vibhakti.
That is why so much discussion was there. In the commentary by Dr. Professor A. Srinivas Raghavacharya, we went through the discussion only because of this. And there are other books also which argue for both cases. Or some books which only for one case, namely dative or ablative, Panchami or Chaturthi. Now, the beautiful meaning that we get out of these two cases are comprehensive, inclusive. Meaning that Chaturthi meaning for all living beings. That means it includes Vibhishana, Ravana. Vibhishana is the subject of the book. Therefore, Vibhishana is the hero here. Vibhishana is the first surrender. So there is no point in saying Vibhishana is included. So Ravana is included. So that is for all living beings. All living beings include gods like Brahma and Rudra, Lord Creator and Lord Shiva. And Indra, take it as include as Indra, all gods and so on. I said all 8 directions, gods of 8 directions, Yama, Varuna, Kubera, Nairuti, Ishana, and Agni. So these are all 8 directions. And then 33 leaders. Ashwini Devata 2, Rudra's 11, Aditya's 12, Ashta Vasus, 8 Vasus. So all the leaders will be protected under the word all living beings. So all living beings are extended the fearlessness, namely Sarva Bhutebhyaha in Chaturthi Vibhakti. Right, you are right. But at the same time, so the problem comes this way. So Brahma gives boon and he appeals to Lord Vishnu to save him from the demon to whom he gave boons. Then again, so Vishnu will be the protector of Brahma. In turn, he gives trouble to the demon who got boons from him. That's it. So Shiva, Lord Shiva also. So you have heard about Bhasmasura. Bhasmasura wanted a boon that on whomsoever, whosoever head he places his hand, he will become ashes. He will be burnt to ashes. So he said, I want to try your boon, experiment your boon on your head. So Shiva was running away from the demon. And there also you have, I think, there is a concept, Mohini Avatara occurred 3 times. Mohini Avatara. I think I forgot the third one. So Mohini, Lord Shivanarayana took the form of a lady and danced before him, the Bhasmasura, and then asked him to place his hand on him, tricked him to place on him. Then he became ashes. So in that way, so trouble may be there for gods also. And that will be for Sarva Bhutebhya, means all living beings. For all living beings, this Chaturthi Vibhakti is satisfied. So from all living beings, again, even God get trouble from others. So all will be, excluding none, everybody will be given protection. So from all living beings also, he holds good. So in our case, human beings, in the human society, we also give troubles to others. We also give troubles. How to avoid human beings from giving trouble? So from all living beings. If a snake crawls on the floor, when you want to cross the place, then when you don't disturb it, it won't do anything. When you want to kill it, when you want to just drive it out, then it does harm. So in that way, so you don't provoke anybody. Among human beings also, you don't provoke anybody to anger and make him do harm. So from all living beings. Animals, all living beings mean all living beings, including creatures, animals. A person in the zoo feeds lions and tigers. And unfortunately, there were instances where he is harmed. He thought the lion is tamed lion or the tiger is a tamed tiger. But as soon as he goes inside, though he gives food, it pounces on him and kills him. So it is a protected zoo. So he must never run the risk of offering food. And there are people who keep lions and tigers as their pets at home. So one day, if they bite, then that will be very fatal in danger. So all living beings include everything. So from all living beings also is very important. Equally important. It is Vibhishana gets protection from Ravana. Okay. Kumbhakarna did not get it from Ravana. Of course, Kumbhakarna chose to die. Invited death. So also Kamsa. Kamsa did not ask for pardon. So Panchami Vibhakti is also necessary. That's what we are discussing.
Ramanujataya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanadaryam Vande Vedanta Desikam Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya வேதாந்த குரவே நமः. வாதித்விப சிரோபங்க பஞ்சானன பராக்கிரம ஸ்ரீமான் வெங்கடநாதாரிய சிரம் விஜயதாம் புவி. சீரொன்னு தூப்புள் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்னு சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்னு தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ராமானுஜதயா பாத்திரம் ஞான வைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம். கவிதார்க்கிகசிம்ஹாய கல்யாணகுணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேஷாய வேதாந்தகுரவே நமः. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய.